I've picked up the phone 3 times this afternoon, and 3 times I've put it back down without dialing. The receiver is coated in a thin layer of dust, almost like gray flour, and I've realized I'm more afraid of leaving a fingerprint in that dust than I am of dying alone in this house. If I call, my son will answer with the tone of a man enduring a deposition. If I don't, I can keep pretending he's just busy. My name is Arthur. I'm 85 years old, and I've spent the last 40 years building a fortress I'm only now realizing has no doors. I was a senior risk analyst in Chicago for 4 decades. My life unfolded inside Excel spreadsheets and actuarial tables. My job was to quantify uncertainty, to turn fear into manageable numbers. I brought that same logic home with me every night like a virus. I believed love was a balance sheet. If I injected enough capital, private schools, safe neighborhoods, a paid-off mortgage, the ROI would be a happy family. I gave my children everything they asked for except the one thing without a line item, myself. Missing a baseball game or recital wasn't neglect, it was capital expenditure. I told myself the great American lie, I'm doing this for them. It numbed the guilt of choosing my office over my blood. I chose the boardroom because I knew how to control outcomes there. At home, I didn't know what to do with a crying child or a wife who looked at me like I spoke a dead language. I remember my youngest, Sarah, bringing home a drawing from kindergarten, a house, a tree, a tiny man standing at the edge of the paper, almost falling off the page. Who's that, honey? That's you, Daddy. You're in the phone getting money for my crayons. I laughed. I was proud she understood the value of $1. I didn't see that in the mind of a 6-year-old. I wasn't a father. I was a human ATM. I taught my kids to value the things I bought instead of the man who bought them. Now they're successful. They have their own money, their own houses, their own spreadsheets. They don't need the ATM anymore. I'm sitting in a 4,000 square foot house with a perfect HVAC system, and I've never been colder in my life. I won the financial game, but I'm staring at a total loss on the only audit that matters. The breaking point didn't come with a dramatic fight. It came on a Tuesday in November 20 years ago. I remember the damp, metallic cold that settled into your teeth. Sarah was 16. She came into my home office around 9 p.m. I was buried in a risk assessment for a merger in London, staring at flickering red and green charts. She stood by the door, twisting a loose thread on her sweater. I'm in the middle of a global close, Sarah, I said without looking up. Is this a now thing or a later thing? It's a now thing, she whispered. I gave her 90 seconds of my attention. My hand stayed on the mouse. She told me she was scared, that she didn't feel like she belonged in her own skin, that the GPA I demanded and the perfect life I'd bought her felt like a chokehold. She cried silently the way you cry when you've learned emotions are messy inefficiencies. I didn't get up. I didn't hug her. My brain searched for a tool, but I only had financial tools. Look at this house, I said. Look at your car out front. You have every advantage. If you're feeling sad, maybe we increase your allowance or find you a better therapist. I'll pay for the best in the city. Just give me a number. The look she gave me wasn't anger. It was a funeral. In that moment, she realized I wasn't a person I was a provider. I was trying to buy her silence because I didn't know how to hold her pain. She walked out of the room, and I went back to my London merger. I closed the deal. I made a $60,000 bonus that night. I felt like a king. It took me years to understand that $60,000 was the price I paid to lose my daughter. Now I spend my Sundays in this leather chair, staring at that black phone. It's the only thing in this house that still connects me to the outside world. I haven't cleaned it in weeks. I watch the dust settle over the receiver like a gray shroud. Every Sunday I tell myself I'll call, I'll apologize, I'll say I'm sorry, I was a machine instead of a man. But then 6 p.m. rolls around. The sun dips behind the neighbor's house, a little smaller than mine, though the man who lives there has grandchildren running through sprinklers every Saturday. I imagine the silence after I say hello. It's heavier than any mortgage I ever signed. My kids aren't avoiding me because they're cruel. They're avoiding me because I remind them of the man who gave them everything they wanted, but nothing they needed. I used to think my absence was heroic. I believed those 80-hour weeks built a shield around my family. But that Tuesday with Sarah and the hundreds like it taught me you can't build a home out of reinforced concrete and stock options. The realization didn't arrive like lightning. It came as a slow thaw. About 6 months ago, the furnace in this big empty house died during a Chicago freeze. I called a repairman in his 50s named Joe, grease under his fingernails, a jacket worn thin by years. While he worked, his phone rang. His daughter, he didn't check his watch. He didn't say he was in the middle of something important. He sat down on my cold basement floor, leaned against the furnace, and listened. 20 minutes of, "Yeah, honey," and "I hear you." When he hung up, I asked how much he was losing by sitting there instead of fixing the next job. He looked at me with a pity that made my skin crawl. "Sir, if I don't listen now, she'll stop talking later. I can always make another $100. I can't buy back those 20 minutes. That's when the math finally broke. I had spent my life as a provider, believing provision could substitute for presence. If the roof didn't leak, I had done my job. But I was just a landlord living in the same house. I kept the rain off their heads while letting it soak into their spirits because I was too busy calculating umbrella costs. Being there isn't logistical. It's a decision to let the mess in. I avoided emotional rain because it was unpredictable and didn't fit into a spreadsheet. I was so afraid of inefficiency that I became irrelevant. I kept the house dry and let the hearts inside it freeze. The inside job wasn't fixing them. It was realizing I was broken. A man who provides everything but himself has provided nothing. Real love is sitting on the basement floor, letting your suit get dirty, choosing the heat of a difficult conversation over the cold comfort of a fat bank account. Tonight the sun has gone down, leaving the room in that heavy blue twilight that makes everything look like a memory. I ran my finger along the top of the receiver and left a clean streak through the dust. It looks like a scar. I used to wait for them to realize how much I had given. Don't they know how hard I worked? I wanted gratitude for the air conditioning and the college degrees. But the ledger is clear now. They don't owe me a thing. If anything, I'm the one in the red. I gave them the world. I never gave them a father. You can't expect someone to visit a monument That's all I became, a bronze statue of a successful man in a big house on a hill. People admire statues, they might respect them, but nobody loves them. Sarah doesn't remember the merger I closed that night. She remembers the sound of my mouse clicking while she was breaking apart. I spent 85 years mastering risk and missed the biggest one of all, the risk of being known, the risk of saying I don't have a solution, but I'm here. The house is quiet now, the kind of quiet that rings in your ears. I'm not going to call tonight, not because I'm angry, not because I'm proud. I'm not calling because you can't demand a place in a life you never bothered to inhabit. You can't show up at the finish line and ask for a trophy for a race you didn't run. I'll sit here a while longer. I'll look at that streak in the dust. It's the only thing in this house that feels real. If you're still working 70-hour weeks, still telling yourself you're doing it for the people in the other room, go into that room. Don't bring your phone. Don't bring solutions. Just sit on the floor. Let the rain in while there's still someone left to get wet with you. Because the dust is coming for all of us. And when it settles, you're going to wish you'd left more fingerprints behind. Nay, 3 times this afternoon, and 3 times I've put it back down without dialing. The receiver is coated in a thin layer of dust, almost like gray.